what do we got going on today? Well, today we're going to make some gin. I love gin. One of my favorite drinks is a gin and tonic. So, with that being said, I want to make a gin that is pretty bold flavor, a lot of botanicals in it, well, you know, the right amount. But I mainly want to make a gin that would be great for a gin and tonic. Okay? But first things first, welcome to Stillworks and Brewing. My name is Randy and this is the channel that's all about home distillation and brewing. Okay, well, let me get this out of the way. Hey, after the video, please consider subscribing. That's what helps us to keep bringing out this content, and so please consider. Hope you do. Alright, let's get started. Okay, so basically, what is gin? Well, gin is more or less a neutral spirit, and it's flavored by a lot of botanicals. And the main one is juniper berries. If you smell juniper berries, that is the smell of gin. So if you smell gin, you know what they smell like, okay? And then it can have all kind of different flavors of botanicals in it. Okay, now, one thing that is not typically in it is hops, okay? There's a local distillery around me, and they sell gin and it has hops in it, and it is fantastic. So we're going to use the normal stuff, but we're also going to put hops in it because it just adds a wonderful flavor. Okay, so there is basically 3 ways that you make gin to get this stuff into, you know, your distillate. Okay, well, the first way is maceration. Did I say that right? Okay, and what you're going to do is you're going to put all your it's like making a tea. So you put all your botanicals into the alcohol and extract the flavors, and you're going to make a real intense maceration. And then after that, you will put them into the still and then distill it out, and the flavor should carry over into your final product. So that's maceration. All right, number 2, vapor infusion. So what vapor infusion, if you have what they call a gin basket, or you can put your botanicals in the column somehow, and you distill, and the vapor coming up through that, where it will pick up some of the flavors and bring it over into your final product. So that's number 2. And number 3 is steeping without distillation. So what you would do is you would take more or less you take your final product, you put in your botanicals into the final product, let it steep for a certain amount of time, and then you're going to strain it all out. Now, me, myself, and you know, looks means a lot. You know, it's nice and crystal clear. To me, that's the way gin is supposed to look. So, when you do steeping, it will tint your gin. And that's okay. I mean, it tastes just fine, tastes great that way. But I want a clear gin. Okay, so what method am I going to use today? Well, I'm going to use the maceration method, and I was watching Bearded and Bored, and he did like a combination of that and vapor infusion, and I said that might work pretty darn good. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll make the maceration of the botanicals except for the citrus. Okay, the orange peel, lemon peel. I'm gonna put that in the vapor path. So first I want to get all the botanicals into the distillate and let it start getting flavor in there. Okay, so the recipe that I will put out is for 1 liter. Okay, now I do have more than 1 liter here, so I will be using a lot more. But the recipe I'm going to give out is for 1 liter, and you can scale it up to whatever you're doing. Okay, what's the ingredients for this batch of gin? Well, I got a nice neutral spirit here, and I made it. It was an all grain, and it's rated at 100 proof, just a little bit over 100, 110 proof. Okay, so that's going to be the alcohol. Okay, so what else are we going to use? Well, in the maceration, the very first thing we're going to use is the star of the show is juniper berries. What do they taste like? Well, they have a slight piney taste, maybe a little bit of fruitiness taste, a little bit of peppery. So I just love their flavor. Okay, so after that we're going to have coriander seeds, which is a nutty and citrus kind of flavor to that. Cardamom, here the cardamom seed. Okay, cardamom seed it's like a warm, sweet, spicy flavor with maybe even just a hint of lemon in it. Okay, and then I got angelica root. Okay, angelica root is an earthy, maybe a slight sweet taste to it, and maybe just a little bit of a licorice taste, just a little bit to it. Okay, and then the other thing I'm going to add is I got cascade whole hops. It's the whole leaf hops. Okay, and what that's going to add is a piney, citrus, and a little bit of floral notes to the gin. Okay, so that's what we're going to use. So how long are we going to leave it in there? Well, usually 24 hours or 36 hours you can leave it in there till you think it's ready. So I'm going to leave it in there about just a little over 24 hours, and then I think it'll be ready to redistill. And okay, the first thing we want to do is prepare our juniper berries. I mean, they're a whole berry, and they're dried. They're a little bit hard. What we want to do is we just want to crack them open just enough to so that the alcohol can get in there and get some of that flavor out. So we're just going to just crack them open a little bit. We don't want to pulverize them, just to crack them open. Okay? Alright, let me get that done. Alright, so now they're just cracked open. I'm going to go ahead and put my other seeds in, which would be the coriander seeds and the cardamom seeds. Put them in there. Crunch them a little bit, that's all I want to do. Okay, that should be said before. I'm going to give out the recipe for 1 liter at a time and just scale to whatever you're doing. So I got that all cracked up. I got some so what you want to do is I'm going to do it for each one of these jars. My jar's just about 2 liters. I'll put this on where I spill it. Okay, so we're going to add this to the jar, and we'll add the rest of the ingredients that we got. Put our ingredients in there. Okay. And by tomorrow, this ought to be a good maceration. Okay? So I'm going to do this for each one of my jars, and we'll be back tomorrow and move on to the next step. Alright. This is a lot of fun, isn't it? Okay, so we'll see you tomorrow. Welcome back to Still Works and Brewing. So what are we going to do today? Well, today is distilling day for our gin. I mean, can you see that? That has really changed a lot in color. It has been 48 hours, or damn close to it. I just wanted, I tasted it, I wanted to give it a little bit more time to really get the flavoring out, but it's distilling day today. Alright, so what are we going to do? Alright, I got me a screen, you know, mesh, nice fine mesh screen that I'm going to put in my still pot, and we'll pour this in there. Okay, so what do we need to do? Alright, like I said, we're going to strain this out into the still pot, and then we need, remember this is 110 proof, okay? So what we need to do is we need to have it under 40 ABV, okay, or 80 proof to be able to distill it. So we're going to make some good clean water with this still pot. Plus, remember we want to be up above the heating element enough so if we take out this much back out that the heating element is still covered up. Okay, so we're going to add that to the pot. We're going to add some good clean water. Then we're going to stack out our still. We're going to put some citrus in the sight glass. I wanted to check one thing. Ooh, smells a lot like gin. That's real strong gin flavor. That's just what we wanted. Okay. All right, let's get that in the still pot, okay? All right, let's pour this in. There's one. Ah! One to go. Now we're just going to add some good clean water. I'm thinking 4 of these. That's one. Okay, let me get this done. So we're going to be ready to stack that still. Okay, so I'm up to my sight glass. And under my sight glass I got a screened gasket. And that will hold stuff in the sight glass so it don't fall all the way through. And in the bottom of my sight glass I do have 2 rolls of copper. So what I got here is 1 lime, 1 lemon, and 1 orange peels. And you want to try to keep the pith, you know, the white. Yeah, you get some of it, that's okay, but I pretty much got it all. And you don't want to pack it in there tight. You just want to, it wants to be loose. It's got to be able to get vapor through, you know? Alright. I decided what I want to do too. Whoop, dropped one. Is I'm going to add a handful, not a handful, just a few extra juniper berries in there. Not crushed, just whole. Just for the heck of it. All right. Okay. Let me finish stacking my still out. There's my citrus. I'm hoping it's going to be a really citrus forward gin. That's what I'm hoping for. Okay, so I'm gonna get some heat under this. We're gonna get it warming up, so we'll be back. We got our first 8 ounces, and I'm gonna call that my 4 shots and heads. It smells weird. Ooh, that does. That smells good, tastes good. Wow, whoo! Alright, so we'll start collecting for a while. Got a little bit of reflux action going on up there. Going in and out of that fruit. This is going to be a pretty good gin, I hope. It's hot and humid today. Not as hot and humid as you guys down south. I feel for you. It has to be hotter than hell down there. So, let's start collecting wild, and I'll check back in a little while. It's the next day. So now is the fun part. I want to decide what I want to keep. Here's all my cuts. I want to decide what I want to keep and what I'm going to put together. Now, this first one, I mean, it looks nice and clean. Don't smell bad. Okay, it's got a lot of intense flavor in it, so I might hold off on that one for a minute. Now, this last one down here, what I consider my tails, if you look at it, it's just a little bit cloudy. And there's just an off smell to that. So I'm pretty sure I'm not going to use that. The next one up, look how crystal clear that is. And it smells pretty decent. Oh, that one. Yes, they're all smelling fantastic. So that's what I like to do first. I smell first. Okay, let's give them a little bit of a taste. Okay, so I'm considering, this last one I'm not going to use at all. That's going to go over my tails. I'll put it in the next batch. But this next one up, it looked really good to me. It tastes good. Tastes good. Got a nice gin taste to it. Move on up the line. And you can taste, I mean, it started out, I think it was 150 proof on that one. This last one was 30. So I know I was getting into my tails. More intense flavor as you come up. Really intense flavor, but good. And that one is really intense. Okay. What I'm going to do is, okay, this first one I'm going to just hold off for a minute. The rest of this I'm going to mix together, then I'm going to taste it, and then I'll use that very first one, maybe just to flavor it out a little bit. Okay? So, let's put all these in. That's yellow. Okay. Let's just see where we're at with this. It's all pretty mixed up. That's good gin. Very good gin. It ain't as intense of a flavor as I thought. Let's see what our proof is. I mean, right there is 120 proof. I think I'm going to use that. I'm going to use this whole Okay. Alright. That's awesome. So, what I think I'm going to do is, I'm going to get this smaller mixing jar, is proof this down to about, I'll use this one. I'll proof it down to about 80, and then we put it in some bottles. Okay, so let me get this stuff, some of this stuff cleared out of the way. I'll be right back. Okay. So let's see. We're going to start off at 120. See if I do this without spilling. You add a bottle of water. I always use bottled water. I've never had bad luck with it, so I just keep doing it that way. That might look a little cloudy, but what it is the air bubbles that are in it. It will come out. Alright, let's see where we're at now. Oop. That's a little over 100. Let's do one more. 80 is my go-to. Missed. Like I said, 80 is my go-to proof. That's just where I like it. It's up to you. Ooh, one more. And like I've said in the past, there's calculators and out there that, to me, this is just as easy. Plus it makes you feel like you're a mad scientist. Okay, this, oh, perfect. That is 80 proof, 40%. Okay. Okay, so I got about a gallon and a half. Yeah, about a gallon and a half of 80 proof gin. It's crystal clear, looks beautiful. Ah. It smells like gin. Let's see what it tastes like. Tastes like gin. I think the only thing I think I might do a little bit different next time is I think I might go just a little bit more botanicals in the maceration. It does have that citrus front that I wanted. It is pretty good. I like it. But if I was going to do something just a little bit different, I might just add a little bit more botanicals. So I'll have to make notes on my recipe. But what I'll do is I'll put the recipe in the description below of actually what I did use. So, but if you wanted to, you know, and it's all up to your taste. That is a good gin. Don't get me wrong. That's a good gin. And would make a very good gin and tonic. But I'm just thinking maybe just a little bit more, maybe juniper berries. But overall, I'm pleased, very pleased. Okay, what do I got left? Okay, the only thing I got left to do is I will put that into bottles. I will run it through a couple coffee filters. I don't know why it's perfectly clean, but that's just what I do. Okay, so I will put, I might not. I mean, it is crystal clear. Anyway, put it in a bottle, label it up, and enjoy a good gin. Okay, I guess there's only one thing left to say. Hey, thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you next time here on Still Works and Brewing. Cheers, everybody.